So we've got new patch 2.0, which corresponds with the DLC release. For those of you who are normal like me, no, I'm not a Team Ninja dev. Release time is basically, I guess, if you're watching this video tomorrow, at the time I release it, it should just be released for you at this point. So there's that. And we're just going to go through the patch notes. There's a lot of stuff that they've added, a lot of things that they've changed. And overall, I will just say it's a positive, net positive. I think one thing that has been missing from people has been, hey, where's our PC optimization? And it doesn't seem like there's anything done with that in this patch, which is a disappointment, of course. So yeah, put pressure on Team Ninja or whoever's making this to make it a more playable game for you. So I'm going to say. So DLC is coming out, great. And they've added a lot of content. So part of a new story, new weapons. They've added picture scrolls, and some conditions to it. Added a new difficulty mode. Yeah. And they give you some information, and they added some more things here. So let's talk about some of the balance things that have been done. Adjustments for key. I think some of these are nice. So I guess, I don't know. Oh, this is scrolling way too quickly. Increase the amount of key damage dealt with the strength stat is raised. I guess that's nice. I don't know the amount though. They say they have adjusted the natural key recovery speed of human enemies. And they've also adjusted the key consumption upon attacking for the human bosses. Takeda Shingen, Kajiwara Kagetoki, Tokugawa Kunimatsu, Takasuki Shinsaku, and Okita Soji. I think I have to test this. I haven't tested it. But I think one frustration for many players, especially on the Stone of Penance +5, was that human key would just never go to 0, like ever. So perhaps these changes recognize that. We'll see. I mean, I'll see myself pretty soon. One thing that's also nice is max key depletion has been increased for Guardian Spirit skills. I know that's one of the common complaints I would hear, that, hey, the Guardian Spirit skills don't really pack much oomph in that department. Now they pack a little bit more oomph. How much? I don't know. They've also increased the max key depletion when using summoning seals, so for those that enjoy that, that should help. Looks like they have adjusted certain sets. I think just in particular 3 of them. So Unmatched Warrior, they've reworked some of the set bonuses. I think for me, the thing that stood out the most was that they removed the status ailment confusion from the targets of extended negative effects melee attack. So I think to translate this, what I would see happen is that players would use this set specifically to prolong confusion almost indefinitely. And I guess they removed that, so it's a bit of a nerf. It looks like they reworked some things as well. So who sees what'll happen? I don't know what'll happen with this set. General of Ruin has, I guess, been changed a little bit. They boosted some of the earlier set bonuses, and then they've changed how key damage deflect works. So it used to be a fixed percentage of damage to the enemy's max key, but now it calculates damage from the special effects and key damage dealt based on basic key damage amount, just like in standard attacks. Also made it possible to deal damage to the max key of yokai enemies. So this, I don't really know exactly if this is a buff or a nerf, but it's at least a change. I definitely do remember there being a fixed percentage to doing key damage, but I guess they've adjusted it. So I guess those who use this set will see for themselves. And then Benzaitans fixed an issue preventing the effects of stat count duration set bonus. Okay, from being triggered for all status enhancements and 6-set versatility. I don't really know how that's going to play out, but I guess we'll find out. Now weapons, there have been some rebalances, which is actually pretty nice. Some of these I like more than the others. So for example, Samurai, so for the sword, quick draws, damage got a boost. Tempest hits, I mean, that's nice, it'll hit enemies. I remember I would hate it when it would whiff. And then Tempest deals damage. I'm like, okay, that's good. It should have been doing that in the first place. And then it looks like they fixed some bugs related to things. I guess that's nice. Dual Swords got some slight buffs to just Sign of the Cross. Spear has less recovery frames after guarding. It's not really something I noticed, but I guess they felt it was necessary. They boosted Tornado and Fatal Thrust. I guess great. Axe, shortened recovery frames after guarding. That's I tested it in the dojo. I was pretty surprised how quickly I could spam block. So that was kind of neat. I've never encountered this bug, but I did encounter this bug right here. So fix an issue where pressing quick attack button following a strong attack while dodging cannot trigger the martial art for a quick attack following a strong attack. I would notice that because I would do mid stance strong, like dodge strongs, and then try to do Bear's Bane, and it just like would not work. And it'd be very awkward. Now, when I've tried it with the axe, I can do Stone Mallet into Titanic Strength, which is great. It works exactly as it should. And it makes Axe feel even better. So hooray. Now, one thing that's also nice is that Odachi just got buffs straight up. So Devastating Rush, Imperative Strike, and all 3 versions of Moonlit Snow have all been buffed in damage. Which I think is warranted since I found that Soaring Foul kind of became the main damage source when I would think Moonlit Snow would be the biggest one. So I've seen some pretty large percentage increases for at least Moonlit Snow Redux. So I trust that classic Moonlit Snow and Moonlit Snow Charge also have that too. And then Cuckoo's Call also got a buff. You lose as much ki when you're using it, so that's good. Switch Wave didn't get too much. Martial Art Thin Air, I guess that's nice. And then there's a bug where you could keep buffing Wildfire or Tempest Flux by doing something silly. Next up, Cestices. Just across the board buff. Unbroken, you get more damage. Great. And it looks like there were some bugs where you might accidentally do things you didn't want to do. Ninja Sword got a simple buff to 1 martial arts. Same with dual Ninja Swords. I guess they were underperforming. Split Staff, it looks like just got bug fixes, no balance stuff. Unfortunately, Serpent Sweep input seems to be the same. Or rather, I can't customize it. Alright, I guess. Kusarigama got some buffs. Reaper got damage buffs. Tangle Strike, I guess Spirit Damage means ki damage. It's probably like typo from Wolong or something, who knows. Blade Spin got a buff. Reed Cutter, you can transition into other martial arts, so that's nice. Made changes so that martial art Masterful Guard will now deal ki damage. Bro, it should have been doing ki damage in the first place. Yeah. That's why I liked it, because it did a good amount of ki damage. Hey, Lana. And then I guess some bugs as well. Okay, and then Hatchets has some sort of little bug here. Talon's got an across-the-board buff, so quick attacks and strong attacks, so all basic attacks do more damage, which I think can help, because I do remember many players would say, hey, like, I don't get what makes Talons great. Well, now they do more damage, maybe that can help. They also sped up the martial arts Chaotic Cleave in both forms of Whirling Tiger, which I think is great, make it faster. And then Dragonfly Reversal, both forms are just overall stronger. So hopefully this will encourage players to try Talons a bit more. Because maybe they saw certain weapons just were not really used as often as others, and maybe that's what dealt with that. Looks like they had a bug here with strong attacks to be triggered if the player quickly pressed the inputs. Okay, great, I guess. Adjustments and bug fixes for skills. So let me pause a little bit. Here, I'll answer questions after I finish these notes. It shouldn't take too much time. So, adjustments and bug fixes for skills. Awakening speed has been increased. Apparently, it's like Nioh 2 speed. I don't know. Not that I use it, so woohoo. I don't know. I don't have any experience with this one. I do have experience with this one. It'd be weird when I get the ninjutsu acceleration. I'm like, why? What did I do? I don't know. So there's that. I don't have experience with these things. Samurai skills, fixed a bug causing... Yeah, I don't really know much about this. I don't know too much about the ninja skill stuff. Cool, I guess. Didn't they do something? I remember reading somewhere they did something for arts proficiency at large. It's probably further down. Okay. So feature enhancements and adjustments. Okay, cool. You can send more things to the storehouse. Hooray. Tutorial about the storehouse. A bit late. Camera distance has been adjusted a little bit. You can mess around with things a bit more to either like zoom in or zoom out, I guess. And then something about icons, map stuff. Okay, that's great. I guess better filtering options. Oh yeah, if you want to use multiple items in a row, you can use the next one more quickly. Improve the behavior of Kappa when they run away. Yeah, they were annoying to chase. Hopefully it's a little easier. Alright, this one is actually big. Increase the damage amplification rate for arts proficiency upon increasing arts proficiency power. So, I saw a video of somebody just do some numerical comparisons about pre-patch and now with this patch. So it seems like the high end of damage is slightly nerfed by like 5%. But your starting stacks of arts proficiency, your damage is much higher. So I think pre-patch it was like 15%, and then each stack would give you another extra 15%. So it'd be like 15 and then 30 and then 45, 60, 75, and then 90. And then now what I think they've done is they do now with the new patch, it's 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, 85. I think 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Yeah. So it's only a 10% increase per stack. And while the max damage is slightly reduced, your initial like arts proficiency thing is more powerful. So it's just more compressed, which I think is a reasonable change because I think one of the things that players would naturally feel about ninja style is that it was so powerful. Because it is. If you attack from behind, you do 2.5 times damage. That's a lot. So it's difficult for many players to find samurai styles as appealing because your starting damage goes up by like 10-15%. So like that kind of sucks. It's like, okay, it's not like I have to work harder to get bigger damage. Now it's like, oh, well, I can now your starting point for arts proficiency change is a lot stronger. And I guess they felt that it was too strong, so then they just nerfed it slightly. Now, in my experience, I find both styles okay because I would get to max stacks pretty quickly. But I think for a lot of players, it may not have been obvious, so I guess that helps. They changed the elemental damage cap to, I guess, nearly 1 million. Confusion to the list of targets of the special effects, extended negative effects, and negative effects duration. I feel like that should have kind of been a thing. Okay. Okay, I guess that's nice. Okay, I guess that's cool. All right. Yeah, that's great. I guess I don't really understand the impact of this. Made change. So this one's big. Made changes so that repelling the enemy's attack using the Guardian Spirit skill Boiling Counter for Narikama Tanuki will not consume ki. I have tested this, and it does not consume ki. It is peak. This is good. Also made changes so that repelling an enemy's burst attack will automatically trigger burst break immediately afterwards. I have to test this, but I think this is just a net positive buff. Now, one concern I had was that, oh no, if it doesn't consume ki, does the game still register it as a block? The answer is yes. It's just a block that doesn't consume any ki. In other words, if you have recoup, which allows you to keep pulse on block, you can still do like Frost Moons or Spear Flourish or whatever you want. It still works with proper timing. In other words, if you can maintain Arts proficiency with this still. It's a net buff, so Narikama Tanuki is like super good now. Decrease the amount by which enemies attack increases in Shogun's Journey, I guess. Made it easier. Okay, that's great. And now the most important thing for every player in the game to know. Made it possible to sell elixirs. Yes! I can now sell 10,000 elixirs. And you might be wondering, yo, how much gold are you going to get per elixir? Just 1 gold per elixir. But hey, I can at least get 10,000 gold. So I'll take that. And then lower, I guess they one thing they changed for co-op is they made it so there isn't too much of a discrepancy between the host and other players, so it can at least feel more equal. I guess that's nice. There's a bunch of bug fixes. I'll just briefly scan it, but I don't remember there being things that really stood out, minus a few things. I remember Zealot was talking about how Control Type F, if you try to do Guardian Spirit skill while guarding, it'll trigger a martial art, and that would be really irritating. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that's nice. They adjusted that. I'm trying to see if there's anything else real quick, because I don't remember there being anything that stood out too much. I think that's it. Bunch of bugs. I'm not going to go through it, but you're more than welcome to. Oh yeah, and then I guess last but not least, if you have OCD, you can, for whatever reason in PS5, you can delete your save data. So woohoo. And then for whatever reason, Steam gets this benefit, and then unfortunately no patch notes. Or sorry, optimization. There's some bugs here and there. Team Ninja's aware of it. We have yet to see anything come of it, so oh well. But yeah, I guess that's the patch. A lot of changes. I think a lot of good changes, of course, but I can understand that players want more. So definitely, well, you know, let Team Ninja know. Do your job do whatever job you can to just do your part. Do your part, let them know. If they don't act on it, don't support it. It's that simple. But yeah, so hopefully there will be more patches in the future which can address what the community would desire and make the game more fun in the way that I think we'd all like to be the case. But yeah, that's it for patch notes video.